Hi, welcome to my review of Rush Hour 2, directed by Ratner from 2001. So yes, we are back once again, ready to discuss another film on the channel. This time around, resuming the trilogy of the Rush Hour films, and I did in November talk about the first film, and here we are with the second one, and we'll be talking about the third one very soon as well on the channel. But first of all, there will be a spoiler warning for this discussion. If you haven't seen this film, I simply recommend seeing it first, and then come back to this video, and we can go from there. We can talk about this from the comments, and yeah, just to celebrate cinema, of course, as always. And so yeah, what I said, let's discuss my thoughts on this film, and this is one that I do really like, and at times, I love this film just like the first one, and I think it's a really kind of unique one in the trilogy, and I think in some ways it's kind of something I do prefer at times to the first, just some aspects of this. The fact that, of course, we have once again Jackie Chan and Chris Tucker playing Lee and Carter, of course, these agents, and we have just the kind of way in which it starts out. They're kind of vacationing in Hong Kong, in the first act, and they come across this kind of murder case due to the bombing of the US Embassy, and yeah, basically it all unfolds from there. They kind of start to investigate, and of course Lee, Jackie Chan kind of suspects that, of course, Ricky Tan is involved, who he kind of has a past with in that sense. This kind of triad lord, and essentially, yeah, it's about them investigating. And I think the plot is really engaging at times. One of my favourite aspects is just the way in which Ricky Tan is involved. There's kind of this backstory, this chemistry between him and Lee, and just the way in which it kind of plays on the first film. Of course, Lee mentioned that his father passed away while on the force, and something that, because we have obviously Ricky Tan being a former partner of Lee's father, and so it all kind of ties together there nicely from the first film, and it kind of builds upon the weight from that, and Ricky Tan and of course Lee, when they're kind of they meet for the first time and kind of recognise each other. That's something that I think is a really great moment, and so it does kind of build upon the first film, in that sense, with the character development at times. But at the same time, we have just a hilarious film, just like the first. From start to finish, this is just laugh out loud. And what I love about this film, I prefer to the first film in some ways, as well as just the way in which the characters are already friends, they've already kind of met, and they've got this kind of bond that exists in this film from the get-go, and so it's just kind of it all kind of goes from there, and they're allowed to do whatever they want, kind of thing. They're just all these sequences, Jackie Chan and Chris Tucker. It's just so great to see this kind of chemistry here. And yeah, just feel that kind of warmth, and that kind of charm from their kind of friendship that has already been kind of established in the first film. So it's something that is in a sense more felt in this one, and they're just kind of still kind of doing things together and all this, and just hilarious moments with them, and just the chemistry I think is just so great. And Chris Tucker once again so funny in this film, and Jackie Chan as well, and just individually, but when they're kind of together, that kind of dynamic in the action as well, with all the comedy and the kind of the quips and the kind of tag team moves and all this. It's just so funny, and it's so epic as well. The action to the film once again is so great, and I think at times it's got some action that's strung together in such a way, it really is quite remarkable at times, and the editing to the film, and just the way in which we have that kind of action comedy blend, and it doesn't ever really take away, from the actual stakes, I find, and the plot does become a bit convoluted at times, so it does kind of come and go in that sense, in terms of slightly, the investment in some aspects of the plot, just some threads throughout, and I think just some, a couple of moments here and there. There are some lulls naturally, but I think overall, because of the characters and just the comedy, the charm to this, and the actual action sequences, and just the locations, and the way the film flows, at times, I think it is always investing. I think the supporting cast are really good as well. We've got Zhang Ziyi, and we've got obviously John Lone playing Ricky Tan, who've mentioned, of course, really good character in this film, and Roselyn Sanchez playing Isabella, kind of this undercover agent, and she kind of at times there's these twists and turns throughout the film, and it's really fun to kind of witness this, and how obviously especially Carter, Chris Tucker kind of interacts and reacts to all the kind of twists and turns throughout the film. And in a sense, it's kind of this trio of characters at times between Lee, Carter, and of course Isabella Molina, and I think it's just really well done at times, and it is really charming throughout, and I think, yeah, as I say, the plot is a bit at times convoluted, I think, and it does kind of take away from the film at times, in the second half of the film in particular. But despite that, I don't think it takes away from the overall fun nature of this film, and I think so many hilarious moments throughout, and I think some of my favourites include, of course, the Michael Jackson's Don't Stop Till You Get Enough kind of sequence with Chris Tucker in the club, in the first act. That is just absolutely hilarious, and the kicks that he does, and all the noises, and the signature moments there. It's just so funny, and how he kind of performs this, and later on as well with Chris Tucker, in the final act, where he kind of does the distraction in Vegas, which is really great to see him go to Vegas, in this film for the final act. It's just so funny, and I think just the way in which he kind of puts the diversion on there, and for the kind of the villains and all the men there, and he just kind of he drags that whole kind of part out, the kind of in the casino there with the game, the card game there, and it's just so funny. And just other parts throughout the film, in the middle especially, and just lines of dialogue, interactions between Lee and Carter, and just the way in which their bond, which was kind of established in the first and is kind of built upon in this film, just the way in which we see it in full swing in this film, and it's so great the way in which this is done, and I think it's just really warm film this, and really charming film to watch, and it's really well shot at times, and the editing is really good, and just the action, as I say, throughout, it's just great at times, and I think the comedy and the blend of this, and just the plot, for the most part, is really engaging, and got some really good villains in the film, and also just interesting characters elsewhere, like of course Melina, and I think the performances, as I say, really good in this film, and just the way in which we have this, as I say, solidified, kind of bond, with the two, Lee and Carter in this film, and it's really funny in this, but also it's kind of quite heartfelt at times as well, and just the way in which we see them, going on this case, and kind of all the while, kind of their bond is growing even more, and it's kind of developing in different ways, and it's just done in a really fun way, this film, and just hilarious parts throughout, and it is just so funny at times. I do prefer this to the first film, just in certain aspects, and kind of bit more enjoyable even than the first film, just because we have them, the two of them, kind of, their bond is already there, and it's just really cool to see them straight away, in the first act, kind of just, messing around, kind of thing as well. Just them going around and kind of joking together, it's just priceless, and I love the outcome of the film as well, and the way in which at the end we have the two of them kind of, they've got this kind of celebration dance here, the victory, with once again Michael Jackson's "Don't Stop Till You Get Enough" playing, and it's just, I love how they did that, brought it together, in the end, and played that song again there. It's so funny, and it's such a warm film this, and I do at times love this film, and overall it's just a really good kind of buddy cop film. And while we haven't quite got that energy and that buzz of the first film, and that kind of the way the narrative is done in that, and I think the way the characters first meet in this film, as I say, there are some things that I do prefer to the first film, including, of course, just the way that the characters already know each other, and just that chemistry between, Jackie Chan and Chris Tucker, once again, is so great, and just makes this film so special, and just the fact that they've already kind of had this bond, and it just grows even further, but at the beginning they're just straight away together kind of thing, and that's one of the things I love about this film, and it's just from start to finish a really engaging film, a warm film, really hilarious at times, and full of great action, set pieces, and locales, and has a really good kind of atmosphere to this, some really cool elements to the plot, and at the same time it's just quite a carefree kind of buddy cop film, as a comedy it just works so well, and as an action film, as I say, it's got some great moments, and overall consistently it's just really well done throughout. So overall my rating for this film is an 84%, so a really high score from me. It's a really good film overall, and just consistently from start to finish it's just fun, it's got great action, I think the comedy at times is absolutely hilarious. Chris Tucker and Jackie Chan, once again, together, it's a legendary pairing, and I think just the way we have this bond, and as I say, it's built, upon the first film, and things kind of escalate, and I think it's just really cool to see once again them teaming up. Some really iconic moments in this film, and sequences, of course, and it's just so much fun, and I think just the way in which the film ends as well, and it kind of brings together, as I say, the kind of Michael Jackson's "Don't Stop Till You Get Enough" in the end as well. That is just so great, and once again as well, in the credits, just like the first film, we have the kind of the bloopers, and in themselves, they are so funny as well, and I think just seeing the bloopers and seeing, especially, just Jackie Chan and Chris Tucker kind of trying to say their lines at times, it's just so funny, and just some really legendary moments, in the bloopers as well, and just love the way in which all three of these films end, in the credits with the bloopers, and it's just kind of the icing on the cake, really, after you've seen these films, and just once again, really enjoy this film, and it was great to kind of rewatch this film, and just before Christmas kind of thing, as I say, and it's really just uplifting, and kind of a warm kind of film to watch. The action, the comedy, and just the way in which we have this great chemistry between the two of them. Jackie Chan and Chris Tucker, and the action throughout. And just the way in which the film progresses, the plot at times is really good as well, and just as I say, some of the characters, side characters, the way they're done and the kind of dynamics between various different characters, it's just really well done. And the script at times is just, yeah, really solid as well. And so yes, my thoughts. What do you think on this film? It'd be really great to hear in the comments your thoughts on this, and how does it compare for you to the first film in the franchise? And just share your experience with this film, and you know, what is your kind of opinion on this, and you know, the various aspects of the film, the action, the comedy, and let's discuss this film in the comments and celebrate cinema. So yes, as always, take care and thanks for watching.